everyone, and welcome to the Pikeville City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dodson, along with Pikeville City Manager Philip Ellswick. Always a great time to get together and discuss the wonderful things going on in and around the city of Pikeville. Good day, Philip.
Hello, Jill. Good to be here.
Exciting times coming up in the next few months. We're getting into the spring season, and that seems to be the time when a lot of things start to take shape and events start to come about. So we're going to outline a lot of those events today, and of course, discuss some of the things that's recently happened in our community that has really touched us all in a way that we never thought possible.
Right.
So let's start with our biggest probably event of the year, every year, coming up in the month of April. It starts the 19th, and really I think it starts the Monday before the 19th because people start to converge on our city, and that is, of course, our annual Hillbilly Days Festival. How's that going?
Well, we've been planning for it. I have all of our plans in place, and you know, it's a big accomplishment for our city to do that every year with 150,000 people coming into town.
Yeah.
But this year, like usual, we have some special events associated with it. Of course, the carnival will open on Wednesday at 5 p.m. like it always does, and that's a big attraction. This year, we're having a log rolling event that's going to be in the parking space or parking lot there beside of the new Judicial Center.
Okay, now I'm a little curious about log rolling. Is this going to be logs and water?
As far as I know,
Just like
yes.
what we envision log rolling to be.
Right.
That will be the first time that we've had something like that.
Right, and that's only going to be on Friday, and there'll be 3 shows at very specific times.
Okay, so this is not inviting people to come and try their hand at log rolling?
No, it's actually
okay.
just a show.
Okay, good.
To see it, I guess.
Right.
And then we have the Appalachian Wireless Fireworks that we have every year, Thursday at dark. Of course, if it rains, as it often does at Hillbilly Days, it'll be on Friday night. The Brantley Gilbert concert is on Saturday night at the Expo at 7 p.m. And then, of course, this year with all the elections going on, we have the traditional annual stump speaking at the courthouse on Saturday morning at 10. So that's always a popular attraction and generates a lot of excitement. It
really is. I had never really been to one of those events until a few years ago when we had a lot of people running for office. And you talk, I mean, it gets heated.
It does.
Just not from the candidates, from their supporters as well.
There's always some hecklers in the crowd
always.
that wants to talk to the candidates.
Yeah.
It's a lot, kind of getting like Fancy Farm, actually, out in western Kentucky. So, and it, you know, obviously parking is always an issue with Hillbilly Days, so we've worked with Sandy Valley to have a trolley service, and those pickups will be every 30 minutes and drop you off at the corner of Huffman and the bypass at the Expo Center. You can park at the Transportation Cabinet along Lorraine Street, the high school, or Town and Country Shopping Center. So it helps to reduce the congestion downtown and assist with the parking. And
I know a lot of people, when they hear park and ride the trolley, they think, well, I'm never going to be able to get back to my vehicle when I need to, or what have you. But having been someone who took advantage of the trolley system before, it really is the easiest thing to do.
It is.
Because they run every 15 minutes.
Every 30.
Every 30, I'm sorry, every 30. Yeah. But it gives you the ability to not have to worry about, especially if you have children.
Right. Yeah, it's very convenient, and it certainly reduces how far you have to walk usually.
Yes, absolutely. What about different events? So we have a 5K going on.
5K and 10K
at
the same time, and that's sponsored by the Big Sandy Runners Club, and all of those proceeds will go to the Hillbilly Christmas in July, so essentially the Shriners Hospital. So it's a great event, attracts a lot of people.
Let's remind everyone, I'm pretty sure most people have an idea of how Hillbilly Days got started and what the proceeds go for. But for those who may be joining us today who do not know, let's talk a little bit about where that money goes.
Sure. It began in 1977 with the Shriners wanted to do something for handicapped children to be able to provide medical services for them, transport them back and forth between the hospital and here, and that's how the festival began. So it raises proceeds for that and really goes to a good cause.
It does, and when you see all the Shriners come in and they converge right there where the Methodist Church and the park and the post office is, you go through there and you're reminded so well why we do the festival every year, and they come from all over, really.
Absolutely. We have people that come from all over the United States and to foreign countries, and they come annually. So it's kind of a reunion for those folks.
Yeah, everybody, some people plan their vacations around the Hillbilly Days Festival, and and it's always a good time, and we always say a little prayer for good weather. Last year we had one day that was a complete wash.
Yeah, Saturday was a rough day.
It was a rough day.
Year.
It was a rough day, but still, it just seems like as soon as the parade started, the skies just kind of calmed down.
Right.
And we were able to get the parade in, but fingers crossed for
Definitely.
great weather this year. Hillbilly Days, 19th, 20th, and 21st of April. Carnival opens on Wednesday.
Right.
Let's talk about boards and commissions. We usually talk a little bit about the different boards and the groups that we have that form, so update us there.
Right. We have, like we've talked about in the past, a number of boards and commissions that assist the city in conducting business. And we're always looking for folks that are interested in serving on those boards. So in order to generate some names and a pool of folks to pick from, choose from, we've put a form on our website, the city's website, pikevilleky.gov, that you can download, complete the form. You can specify which boards you would be interested in, or all the boards if you just want to be considered, whatever your desire may be, and then submit that to our city clerk's office. And as the mayor and commission seek individuals in the community to fill those seats, we have a pool to start from.
Yeah, and there are so many different opportunities that our community members can be a part of.
Absolutely, from zoning and planning to the Heritage Museum to Tourism Commission. I mean, there's just a number of different things.
People tend to forget how many different things we have going on in
Absolutely.
our community, and it is a long, long list. Speaking of long list, tourism, it all starts, like I said at the beginning of our program, seems like this month, the month of
Right.
March, through at least, well, December now. We take a couple months off,
Right.
January and February, but really things start to form right around Hillbilly Days and Easter. So
Right.
let's kind of talk about some of our events coming up that we always have. And Main Street Live is always a huge, huge draw.
Right. Yeah, Main Street Live at the Billy Johnson stage there at the Expo on Main Street always attracts a large crowd of people every weekend that we have it. It's every other week, beginning in June. And there's a different style of music each occasion to attract different people and suit everyone's style. So it's a great event, brings a lot of people into town, and just a good time to mix and talk.
And it's such a family-oriented event,
It is.
too, because I know my little girl is a big dancer.
Right.
And she loves to go and listen to the music. And every time, every Friday night, it seems like there's a pool of toddlers
Right.
or kindergarten students or the youngsters up there enjoying everything. And so to say that it's an adult event is not the case. It's certainly a family
It's very
family
family
event.
friendly. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. One of my favorite things that we have in the city. What about drag racing?
Well, drag racing begins in May, and it goes for several months, I think into September, maybe October. The first race is on May the 11th and 12th, and it's on the Riverfield. We have the Right Way Raceway drag strip, and our Riverfield seating is there across from Dorsey's and Reynolds Market. Free seating to sit and enjoy the event. It's always a fun time, brings a lot of people in. People that are very dedicated to that. They come every month to watch that or to participate in it. So we really like offering that.
Yeah.
It's morphing into something that some of the races are used to raise funds for special causes. And this year, the first race, the May 11th race, is the Cops and Outlaws race. And all the proceeds from that race will go to the Police Memorial. The Police Memorial inscribes the names of those officers killed in the line of duty, just memorializes those for the future. It also provides some money that group can use to provide to widows and families and things of that nature. So it's a great cause, and there'll be a police car and a custom car show at the Expo. It'll either be on Main Street or in the Expo, depending on weather. But it's
something new and something definitely
Absolutely.
fun. And a lot of recent events, I have no doubt that there will be a huge turnout for that event. Main Street events. Minta and her Main Street board and her Main Street program always get together and have wonderful events that go on, and I know she's busy.
She's very busy. We're very fortunate to have Minta and her board of people that assist and volunteer and plan. But this year, beginning in April, the 28th, she'll have a Derby Days event. And most of those events are moving down to the corner of 2nd Street and Division Street as we begin looking at ways to improve that part of town and attract people to that part of town. So I think every month for the summer and the fall, she has some event going on. We had one, the annual, or the beginning last year with the tailgating event that we had in October, and it was very successful, so we're seeking to build off that.
Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed the tailgating event, and it was a beautiful day too
It
to
was.
have that.
It was beautiful.
But certainly that event in particular was a great way for people maybe who don't travel 2nd Street and Main Street a whole lot to see all those vendors and those shops that we have, wonderful shops that we have come out and just peruse the streets and have a great time. It was a fun event.
And of course, in June there's the dinner in white at Main Street, so that's a growing event and generates a lot of excitement. It's a nice event to have in Pikeville.
It certainly is, and of course all of our events are located and can be found on the city's website or city's Facebook page, and of course Main Street page too. And if you want to add them on Facebook, they're updated constantly.
Constantly.
So
yeah, we maintain a calendar on our tourism website, visit pikeville.com, and all those events are listed with times and gives you all the information you need.
Yeah. We are getting close to the time that we're going to start working on some streets. We do that coming up before when spring gets here. So there are going to be some instances where certain streets are going to have striping projects. There might be some closings and delays. So let's update everybody as to when that will start.
Yeah, every spring we assess all the streets in the city as the ones that need to be paved and the ones that need to be striped for various reasons. Well, downtown now, we need to stripe those streets and mark the parking spaces, put the turn arrows back, to show people the traffic flow. So we'll be working on that in the month of April, weather cooperating, and that's very weather dependent. But as we do that, we'll have to close some certain streets for a period of time as we paint them, as the paint dries. We just beg for patience while we do that.
Yeah, beg for patience. And of course, those closings and delays will be updated on the Facebook pages, tourism page, and of course, we'll have those on our radio stations too to let people know that don't turn down this street.
That's right. We
just
try to
be
make
patient.
the public very aware of what we're doing.
Certainly do. In the recent, we're getting close to the opening of our Dueling Barrels distillery. That will be very soon.
Right.
And sad news came just earlier this month of the passing of Dr. Pierce Lyons, who was the brain behind the entire Alltech family. He is the brain behind the entire Alltech family, and certainly had a love for the city of Pikeville and to develop our new distillery here. He was here often. His people are still here often. But I know that was something that was a very hard thing to take on because it was a very sudden situation.
Absolutely, yeah. Dr. Lyons passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just very thankful to have had the opportunity to meet him. He was a true visionary and a passionate speaker, and someone that you just wanted to be with. And there was so much to learn from him. The Dueling Barrels was his gift to Pikeville, and as you said, he held Pikeville as a very special place in his heart, Eastern Kentucky really, because it reminded him of his home country of Ireland, with the music and the people and their heritage. So Dueling Barrels is going to be opening in the spring. No specific date set yet, but it's going to be producing moonshine and bourbon and beers. There'll be traditional moonshine, of course, and then some flavored moonshine. And then a number of beers, one of which will be called Pikeville Ale, just to give some notoriety to Pikeville and continue to spread the word about the community.
Yeah. Talking about his vision for everything, he really was a visionary and one of the most charismatic people I think I've ever come into contact with. And he was infectious. You wanted to be around him. You wanted to just soak up all of the knowledge that he had. But he made you take so much pride in your community. And we have pride in our community anyway. But his idea for what Dueling Barrels could be, and to literally change this landscape of Hanley Boulevard, and then especially on 2nd Street. It was very important to him to make sure the backside of Dueling Barrels served a major purpose as well.
Right, yeah, Alltech, Dr. Lyons and his wife Deirdre are very cognizant of the community and how their activities in the city impacts the community. So they were intent that the back of the building, which is truly on 2nd Street, would not appear to be the back of the building, but it would appear to be storefronts and blend into our facades. Of course, it's being Irish, he likes to use that style, so it very much looks like what you would see in Ireland, which is fine. I mean, it's very beautiful and fits well into 2nd Street and begins to reshape that to some degree.
Really, if you go down 2nd Street now, and I was just down through there yesterday, as a matter of fact, that really is starting to take shape with the paint colors, and you can
Right.
see inside the building, which is gorgeous.
Right.
And then you have all the work that the Main Street program has done with the storefronts of our existing businesses
Exactly,
there.
yeah.
And it's one of the prettiest
Mhm.
streets
It
that
is.
I think I've ever seen, because everybody takes such pride now
Right.
in the way that their storefront looks. Yeah.
Yeah, the vendors do, and it's, like you say, it's a very attractive part of town, and we hope to see that continue to grow.
And we will, of course, update everybody, and there will be a grand opening of the
Definitely.
distillery,
Right.
and everybody will certainly want to come by and check it out, because
Yeah.
it's just beautiful.
As part of Hillbilly Days, they're having an event on Hamlet Boulevard where you can taste the moonshine and just begin to get familiar with them.
Yeah.
So that'll be all 3 days of Hillbilly Days.
Wonderful group of people to work with, certainly reflect all of the vision and the charisma that Dr. Lyons exuded. So
Definitely.
all of them are that way. So all of their
Absolutely.
employees, we look forward to it.
It's a great addition to Pikeville.
It certainly is. We have had, and it's very difficult to still talk about, but one of the most horrific and tragic events that our city has ever seen
Right.
in the murder of Officer Scotty Hamilton. Very sudden. As we record today, it's just been probably 7 days since his passing. But I know that the city employees and city officials, and really everybody, but have felt such a deep, deep burden
Right.
from his passing and all the events that unfolded. But I'll tell you, I've never seen the community come together like ours has in the recent events.
Right. In the light of a tragic, horrifying event, we were all proud to be from Pikeville. The community responded in a way that really helped ease the pain for the family, for our police department, and provided the support they needed at that time. And we're very thankful that the community came together and did that. I wish it had happened in some other way, that we weren't mourning the death of one of our officers. Scotty had been with the police department for 12 years. He began in 2006. And I've been a patrolman, but for 4 years of that time, he had worked with the state police drug task force. And he had just been so instrumental in helping this region clean up the drug problem. And Scotty was a great person, an infectious smile. And some of the officers were talking about he would arrest people and take them to jail, and the person would thank him. And
Because he was so nice to them.
he was so nice, yeah. So, he will certainly be missed. There's a large void in our police department now that cannot be filled. And we just ask that you continue to remember Chelsea and his family, Brinley, in your prayers and your thoughts, as well as our police department, as we kind of struggle to move through this.
And certainly I know Chelsea remarked the day of his funeral that the outpouring of love and support for everybody, and that people were making such a big deal. He would be on cloud nine, because that's just the way Scotty
Right.
was. So I think that through these events, we really got to know who he was. And you may
Absolutely.
have seen him at the schools
Right.
or at Hillbilly Days on the streets.
Right,
Those are
right.
some of my fondest memories of him. But he really did always have a smile. And I
He did.
think not only him, but our entire police department reflects that same vision and that same spirit
Right.
that you see. And certainly, like you said, keeping the department and city government in your prayers, and of course his family, his young
Absolutely.
daughter, his mother and father,
Mhm.
in your prayers. And so many events now, like the Cops and Outlaws drag race,
Yeah.
that proceeds will go to certainly help his family. The police memorial, like you said, the custom cars and police show that will be there. So many different events going on. I know that there are decals that you can purchase.
Right. Yeah.
I believe from Andy Linton's office.
Andy Linton. And all those proceeds go to the scholarship fund that was established for Brennan.
Yeah, I believe you can also get those at the Expo Center too,
I think so.
at the ticket office. So, but of course, if you have any questions, if our audience today has any questions, we can certainly point them in the right direction.
Right.
Because taking care of them and taking care of our city and certainly our police force is first and foremost, and just continue prayers
Right.
for his family.
Absolutely.
One thing I know that we are looking forward to are some streetscape changes. We've talked about this earlier in
We have,
earlier
yeah.
programs, and so today we're just able to maybe give people some pictures
Right.
to look
absolutely.
at.
Essentially, that overall streetscape master plan can be broken into 3 projects. The largest of which is along Division Street in what is now the Judicial Center Park, which is has a number of trees, picnic tables, things of that nature now. And this project would essentially construct a facility that has an amphitheater, some fountains, but it's a recreation of the cut-through project essentially. So what will be built there shows exactly how the cut-through was made, the cut coming through the mountain, and then the path, the stream that flows from the fountains or between the fountains follows the pattern of the river. So that would be a tremendous addition to Pikeville, just to reflect on our history and really show the importance of the cut-through and the difference it made to our city.
Certainly a park-like setting that everybody's going to take part in. Those are beautiful, beautiful images.
Right. We certainly hope to be able to do that project. We have to have some special permission from the administrative office of the courts, but we certainly hope to be able to do that.
We have another image that we're going to look at next. That is is it a beer garden?
It's a beer and bourbon garden.
Beer and bourbon garden. Okay, we have some images of that that we're going to discuss where that's going to be.
Yeah, that would be constructed along 2nd Street at the Alltech Brewery. And that is something that we hope to work in conjunction with Alltech on. A complete addition to 2nd Street, and also obviously Alltech's distillery on 2nd Street. But essentially a place that you could sit down, visit their tap room, or take your lunch from somewhere else and sit there. So we're excited about that as well.
Another way, really making that 2nd Street district just one of the places to be, if you will, downtown.
Right.
If you can't be in the park or can't be maybe in the new place that we were talking about, this is certainly going to be a wonderful addition to 2nd Street.
Definitely.
One more images that we have, I think, is Jenny Wiley Theater.
Yeah, it's the plaza at the Jenny Wiley Theater at the corner of Division and 2nd Street, and now in that area there's some benches, a couple of trees, but this project would really improve that area, provide some more tree cover, shrubbery, make it more picturesque, make it an area that's very attractive and draws your attention to the theater.
It's a really neat looking area anyway, but especially at Christmas, it became one of the hot spots to have Christmas pictures made.
Absolutely.
If you recall, with the front of the Jenny Wiley building is silver, and they draped lights down the front of it, and everywhere I turned, there was a family in front of those lights taking pictures, so it was really the place to be downtown.
Yeah, this winter when the lights were draped down the front of the building, it was really pretty. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it did turn into a great setting for photos, and we hope to build on that with this project.
Yeah. We talk a lot about new industry coming to our area, and that's a wonderful thing to discuss. But unfortunately for some of us, they take our employees. They just take them for the betterment of themselves. But we need to talk about Sean Cochran just for a moment, because he has been with the city for a number of years. Such a pleasure to work with. I've known him from the very beginning. And just great guy, wonderful employee, but he now is going to the industrial park.
Right, yeah, Sean's worked for the city since 2011 in a number of different roles. He started as the director of attractions, and he's progressed to being the executive director of economic development. And, Sean and I have got to be really good friends, and he does an excellent job for the city, and working very closely with Silverliner. Chris Tomlinson also saw his value and has made Sean an offer that I really can't refuse. So, we wish him well. We'll very much miss him, and he will be impossible to replace.
That's what I was going to say. You talk about people that are hard to replace. Sean Cochran will be one of them. He is truly one of a kind, but also good to have somebody that's definitely on the side of the city in the industrial park.
That's right.
So great way to work together, but we certainly do wish Sean all the best, and no doubt he'll still be around.
Absolutely. We certainly hope so.
We certainly hope so, we do. Need to talk about a few more things as we wind up our time today. A litter ordinance. Let's talk about that quickly.
Right. In the past, we've talked about the issue with litter and our work towards that. Well, one of the things that we've been having a problem with is littering around our commercial areas, around shopping centers and other businesses. So the way our ordinance was written, we had a really hard time enforcing that with a business. We could write you a violation, which is really just a warning, and then you had 7 days to correct that problem. So if we went back in 7 days and you corrected the problem, great. And then when the next violation occurred, we had to start that process over. So there was really no penalty. So in this case, we've changed that process for businesses, whereas if there's litter or a number of other things, which I'll mention, on the property, we can write you a citation today, and then you have 24 hours to fix the issue. And if you don't, we can write citations that are associated, have a fine associated with them. And I want to be cautious to say this is not something to be heavy-handed by any means. We always want to be very business-friendly, and we just want our businesses to look nice and to fit into the landscape of Pikeville. And that's one of the things that people always comment on when they come to Pikeville is the beauty of the city and how clean it is. And we certainly intend to keep that image. So this is a way that we can work with our businesses to do that. In addition to litter, we want the parking lots to be safe and attractive, so we're insisting that lighting that's in the parking lot be functional, that there be trash cans in the parking lot for people to put their trash in instead of just throwing it down. And then, of course, if there's potholes or anything of that nature, we're wanting them to be fixed to make their business attractive and friendly. It benefits them as well as us.
Absolutely. Pikeville Fire Department and their annual review.
Yeah, this year the fire department did their first annual review at the commission meeting, and Pikeville's very blessed with a tremendous fire department. We have 27 firemen on staff and 15 other volunteers that assist in emergencies. And, you know, they do a number of things beyond just the fire and EMS. They've assisted with all the events for the Shop of the First Responder program, all those fundraising events. They've worked with the Traditionalist Workers Party rally when they came to Pikeville. They were intimately involved in that. They do a lot of public outreach to schools and senior centers and things of that nature to educate people on fire safety issues. They're associated with fire prevention, with doing housing inspections and utility inspections. And every year they work intimately with UMG to do fire hydrant testing around town and repair fire hydrants, repaint them, things of that nature. So the fire department's an excellent department in city government. We're very proud of them. And, you know, last year they had over 2,300 calls for service, which is, for a town the size of Pikeville, that's a lot of calls. We respond to them with an average of about 4 minutes. So very timely and a very professional way. And they're excellently trained with
Yes, they are.
over 8,000 hours of training last year.
Another
really
way
amazing.
we need to thank our first responders
Definitely.
when we see them out.
Definitely.
Last thing we're going to talk about quickly is our utility software and radio read meters.
Right. We've recently switched our software that we use for utility billing. There's been a couple of glitches, and much like the streets, we just beg for patience as we work through those issues. So try not to be angry with us when you encounter those things, and we will work with you in every way that we can.
I can speak to that, especially for those of us that pay our bill online.
Right.
There's a different system that you have to put in. I called City Hall and I was like, have I done something wrong?
Right.
But they'll certainly walk you through the process
Absolutely.
of getting that updated and getting it the way that it should be.
Right.
We have a lot of things that we've talked about today, but certainly spring is the time that we all get together and we see a lot of movement. Like we said, first big event coming up, Hillbilly Day, is going to be April 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Right.
Carnival setting up on that Wednesday evening, 5 o'clock, so that's always a good time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then just join us and asking, you know, the big man upstairs for some good weather so we can raise as much money as possible for the Shriners and their kids. Philip, always a great time to get together. I always look forward to it, and certainly we'll do it again soon to update people or residents of the city of Pikeville of everything that's going on.
Okay, thank you.
This has been the Pikeville City Managers Report. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.